Whilst on our annual holiday in southern Spain last year, we decided to leave safe, familiar Europe and head off to North Africa. The ultra-modern, air-conditioned ship left us unprepared for the culture shock ahead. We arrived at Ceuta, where we boarded a bus for our first destination, which was Tetouan. En route, there was the obligatory ride in the camels, but keep an eye on Hassan's struggle with the young camel. At Tetouan, we were dropped off at the gate leading to the Medina, and a world a million miles away from the one we had left that morning. The ladies with the odd hats are Berbers, who have come down from the Rif Mountains for the market. Here you can see the sights and hear the sounds, but the camera does not capture the all-pervading smell of spices and herbs, or the shock of lifting your eyes to see a figure that could have stepped out of the Bible, and all of the senses heightened by a slight feeling of apprehension engendered by the unfamiliar surroundings. You will see people turn away from the camera because they believe that the camera captures their soul. We stopped at the Palace Bulal for our traditional meal. We were served a couscous dish washed down with mint tea, with entertainment laid on. We returned to the bus via the Medina, where the narrow streets were made even more crowded by the numerous Berbers and Jabalis selling their wares. We then continued on our journey to our final destination, the mountain village of Tetouan. The village of Tetouan was isolated and almost xenophobic until 1920. Before then, only 2 Christians had ever visited and lived to tell the tale. Let me introduce Abdul, our charismatic guide. The blue doors and blue-white walls gave the village a clean, fresh feel, but we learned that it also had a practical purpose too, to keep the evil eye out. This is the hammam, or in English, the public baths, where the men and the women have separate bathing times. This beautiful building is the school. This village is still regarded as a holy place, although, to quote one book, there is more kif known to us as cannabis than you can poke a stick at. We climbed up out of the Medina into an open square. At the far end of the square stands the 17th century Kasbah and prison, which is still complete with floor-level neck chains. Abdul then led us to a shop which sold traditional goods. Judging by the number of carrier bags, it did a good trade that day. The heat was intense, and some of the party took the opportunity to cool off as we passed the village fountain. We set off for the return journey to the ferry terminal. However, the bus developed problems and trundled to a halt beside a Jabali village, which, although primitive to us, was normal everyday living for them. As the air conditioning stopped along with the engine and the temperature gradually rose, we eventually disembarked to seek some shade. Looks bad, or the Arabic equivalent. One of the party shared some sweets with the children, with more and more children emerging from doorways and around corners. Despite his energetic hammering, we were stranded for 2 hours. In these remote mountain villages, the children play a large part in the work of the community. Farewell, Morocco, till the next time.